This is our extractor slash ejector. And if you turn it over here, you can see down in here there's a hole. There's supposed to be a pin that goes through that. I'm going to go ahead and let's pull this apart so we can see what's going on. Boy, what I hate is that somebody's just pounded the crap out of all this stuff. I mean, somebody's just wailing on this. When somebody's been pounding on a gun and doing things, and you can figure out, oh, this is what they were trying to do. You know, they were trying to tighten this up, they're trying to move this, they're trying to bend that. You can sometimes analyze and figure it out. Why they were pounding on here, I have no idea. I got a toothbrush. It looks so much better than it did. The sides still look rough and ugly, but I don't want to go thinning on that.
Hi, and welcome to Over the Gunsmith's Shoulder. I'm Gene Kelly, president of the American Gunsmithing Institute, and in this segment, Master Gunsmith Ken Brooks is going to walk you step by step through a gunsmithing repair. You're going to learn a lot. And if you'd like to learn to be a certified professional gunsmith, then go to AmericanGunsmithingInstitute.com and request an information package. Now let's learn from Ken.
Welcome back to another Over My Shoulder. Today we have a single shot shotgun, Winchester 370, and the complaint is won't extract. So let's see what we got going on. So break her open, make sure it's empty, and well, we have an extractor, but it hasn't done anything. So let's take the gun apart and see what we got going on. Pop that forearm off and then break this. Well, right off the bat, I can see one thing. I don't know if it's the only problem, but this is our extractor slash ejector. And if you turn it over here, you can see down in here there's a hole. There's supposed to be a pin that goes through that. And that is your ejector trip lever, or your ejector sear. And this one's ugly. Somebody has really been beating the, I mean, look at that. Somebody just beat the tar out of this. All right, back to how it functions though. There is a pin that fits through this ejector sear, and it protrudes on both sides. Turn this over. You can see this cutout right here. Same thing on this side. That elongated pin fits in there. So I'm just giving you guys kind of a rundown on what happens. So it sits in like so. When you break the gun open, it rotates up. That pin hits the underside of the receiver, right there, and on the other side. And it pulls this sear lever down, which I'm going to do with this punch. And our ejector is released and allowed to kick back. So obviously we are missing this pin. So I try to always show you guys as much as I can. I'm going to go ahead and let's pull this apart so we can see what's going on. Boy, what I hate is that somebody's just pounded the crap out of all this stuff. So let's pull it apart, make sure that there's no cracks and breaks and splits in anything. Because what I could do is just go get a pin, drive it in there, make sure it's going to stay, put it together, and then go test fire. Quick, simple, and easy. But since somebody's really gotten carried away with a punch somewhere. Let's turn this over. That punch is going to be a little on the large side in diameter. So I've released the extractor slash ejector. It's back here. I'm going to knock out this pin because this is the hinge pivot point for our sear, ejector sear. All right. Boy, we're tight. Yeah, we're not happy. Well, let's go ahead and remove our ejector extractor. And okay. So I'm going to lay this out how it lays in the gun. So this is basically how it lays out in the gun. The spring that is your ejector spring is also your sear spring. Pushes here and here. We pivot from here. So when this is compressed, the spring is compressed this way. I'm going to move that out of the way. When this is compressed, this spring is pushing here, and we pivot from right there. This is the trip. And it spring loads up and it catches in the notch. Now our spring is compressed. When we open the gun, the rod, or the pin, excuse me, that fits through here, hits that frame like I was showing you guys earlier, pulls this down, and releases our ejector, which is allowed to slam back. So, this guy we want to be able to move fairly freely, and we got a bit of a bind on some things right in here. Turn that up too and show you. I mean, somebody's just been wailing on this. And what's funny is I don't know why. Often I can see where somebody's been wrecking a gun. When somebody's been pounding on a gun and doing things, and you can figure out, oh, this is what they were trying to do. You know, they were trying to tighten this up, they're trying to move this, they're trying to bend that. You can sometimes analyze and figure it out. Why they were pounding on here, I have no idea. If they were trying to tighten up the hinge, they'd be working up here, not down here. Yeah, anyway. I am going to go find a pin for this, and let's see about, I'm probably going to run this on the 1-inch belt just to make sure it's nice and flat. And probably run a file in here. So we're actually going to kill the camera so I can go get the pin out of parts. And the next time you see me, I will probably be at the vise. So when we just turn it back on, I will have the pin here at the bench, but we're going to be working on the barrel lug at the vise. So give me a minute. All right, so what I did is I put the barrel in our vise, and you can see the bottom. This is where it's all pounded on. And we're where they've been pounded on this, of course, they rounded over the edges, tightened it up. So I'm just running a file inside there to clean up those edges where all those parts fit. And then I can take this guy and bring it back, make sure that it's going to be free to flop around in there. And it is. So just doing that real quick. The other thing I'm going to do is, because I got the thing right here, and I just, these hammer marks, just, I don't know what they were thinking. So do I have to do this? No. I'm just kind of cleaning it up a little bit so it looks a little nicer. Again, just breaking some sharp edges with some quick sandpaper, nothing chaotic, no. I'm not polishing this to reblue it. It's not a real high-end shotgun. All right, come back here. I know the camera couldn't follow that around. So one thing I'm going to do is use one of these Q-tips that I got laying around here that isn't wrecked yet to run down in through the extractor hole. Leave fuzzies all over everything. Come down in here to clean this out. I might use a pipe cleaner in a bit, but just getting all the grit and the crud out of there. I got a toothbrush. All right, let's go back to the bench, and I will throw some cold blue on there. It's probably not going to cold blue real well, but it looks so much better than it did. The sides still look rough and ugly, but I don't want to go thinning on that. So, all right, let's go back to the bench. All right, so since we're about ready to put this together, I'm going to take our touch-up blue and a Q-tip. And since I don't want this spilled on the carpet or on my bench anywhere, put the lid on, put it away. And I'm just going to rub that on there real quick. And I always put those Q-tips over there. Sorry if the paper towel wrecks the white balance on the camera. Get some lube on there. Down inside, I'm going to use a different Q-tip to make sure this hole's nice and clear. Okay, so now at this point, I'm going to slide our sear piece in. Don't know that it matters which side the pin goes through. Let me line that up. Use a punch as a slave pin. And of course it wouldn't stay where it was supposed to. All right, so we want that flush or slightly below. Well, that's almost like I said that in a disassemble, reassemble or something. Okay, now I want to make sure that we are free, and there's a little bit of a bind, so something's going on there with that pin. Or the hole in the sear itself. Yeah, see, we're tight in there now, so I'm guessing. All right, what is going on there? We're free to go. So a little piece of something sheared off and got wedged in there. There we go. Now, see how that's easy? It just flops around so we know it's free. Make sure that we're still free, and we are. See that? Free. Good. All right, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put the pin in. Here's the pin, and I want to show you that it does fit down through here. So it sticks out on both sides. Not sure, again, it really matters which side we tap that in on. All right, now I'm just eyeballing it just to make sure that roughly the same amount sticks out on each side. Now take our spring and plunger, drop it in, and make sure that we're down here. This isn't a DNR, I don't have to tell you guys that. There we go. Now, if I push this extractor all the way in, it should catch. See that? And it did. Now, if I pull down on this pin, it releases. So now let's check it in the gun. So the pin is fitting down through the frame on both sides. And so what happens is, because I know somebody out there's thinking, well, if you've got the wide spot in the frame and the pin goes down through, how does it ever get caught underneath the lip? So what happens is this slides down, the pin goes through that gap, and then the barrel's going to slide forward just a little bit. The forearm keeps the barrel pushed forward. Let me flip this around here. So, sorry, our forearm spring here holds the forearm in place, pushes everything forward. So when you break this open now, the extractor stays compressed until that pin, which is forward of the notch in the receiver, catches and is pulled down, and we eject. You want to make sure that when that ejector trips and kicks the empty out, that the barrel is above the receiver here. Because if it trips too soon, the empty flies back, hits the breech face, and then stops. There you are. Bang, and sometimes they'll hit and bounce out, kind of they dribble out. Sometimes they hit and bounce forward. You want to make sure that when that ejector trips like that, that the chamber, and this is actually a live round at this time, but I just want to show you the alignment. Robert's fully aware. See, when that trips, even if it trips right there, the shell could clear the breech face and is ejected out of the gun. So relatively simple one, lot of little things going on there, and I don't know why somebody was pounding on it, but regardless. Again, we're empty, got the live round off to the side. So now it's a matter of going test fire. Now, one thing I didn't look at was how rough is the chamber. Because you'll note, when I open that, there's no primary extraction cam. There's nothing forcing that extractor back to break the shell loose before the ejector trips and throws it out of the gun. Your better quality firearms, better designed firearms, the extractor is mechanically forced on, and I'm talking about a break open now, single shot doubles over and under side by sides. When they start to break open, the extractors are forced back by something. Sometimes it's the forearm, sometimes it's the receiver, whatever. But it forces that extractor back, not far, 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, but it breaks the fired case, breaks it loose from the chamber, so it's slid back that 1/8 of an inch. Now when the ejector is ready to throw this, the ejector hammer's tripped or whatever, then the shell is loose, so the ejector at that point can kick the shell out of the gun. It is an ejector at that point, not an extractor. A lot of these single shot shotguns, they don't have a primary extraction. They simply rely on a smooth chamber that's well maintained, that when that ejector is and the ejector is tripped, it can kick the shell out. If they don't, sometimes all it takes is a chamber polish. Your H&R topper types in rifles and shotgun chamberings, I see that quite often. They come in and they're a little corroded, a little dirty, and you break it open and the bullet or the fired case just stays in the barrel. So polishing those out, and that usually cures that up. Well, this is kind of a quick and short one, but I will see you next time.
If you want to learn real gunsmithing and see more videos like this, be sure and like and subscribe so you don't miss out. If you're interested in training to be a real gunsmith, go check out the AmericanGunsmithinginstitute.com, or for your own firearms training, AmericanGunsmith.com.